welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, maybe poking a little bit of fun in Toyotas, and of course hearing about how Moscow Mules are on Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. What are you looking at me like that for?
Did you try to make that one in one breath?
I was trying. I don't know if I made it or not because I started laughing. Oh, man. No, this is, what episode is this? 330?
330.
Holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
That's, we're getting pretty far in there, man. Giggity. And so, this is going to be a really fun episode. We got, Jimmy Jet here in the studio. And then we have a couple of other guys visiting us from the past.
Yes.
But not like too long ago.
Just a week or so.
Just a week or so ago. So yeah, we have a really cool episode. We did another recording while we were out at Rubithon for the Toyota Land Cruiser Association's Rubithon event out on the Rubicon Trail, hanging out in the Springs, Rubicon Springs. We got to sit down because there was a really interesting vehicle with us.
Yeah, one that we've been watching the build, and actually spoke to the owner a while ago about in another episode, probably in the 200s.
That's true. I think we did talk to him a little bit about what his plans were for it. So do you think that what came out on the trail with us was what he was planning for it?
I'm not sure if that was his plan for the maiden voyage. But I think the build was to plan.
I think so too. I think
like
it came out
90% of it.
Yep, I think it came out pretty damn close to it. A couple of small changes that need to be done for packaging purposes, but the intent of it was all there. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're talking, of course, about the Moscow Mule, the 4th gen 4Runner that Stellar built. Dmitriy over at Stellar Built has been building for a little bit now. It's been a little bit and they've been super busy, so I haven't been able to dedicate a lot of time to it, but it's been really fun to kind of watch the progress of this build, see what they're doing in the building process, and then be like, that's not going to fucking work on the trail. That's not going to work. What are you guys doing? And then going out on the trail and being like, okay, that works really well.
Yeah.
I'm eating my words.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we get to kind of sit down with Dmitry and Jesse, one of the back office guys who everybody gets to talk to when they call in, talk about how this rig has kind of come to be and how it's doing on the trail and if it's living up to all their hopes and dreams.
Yeah. And this was the maiden voyage for it. So, it was fun to be a part of that and check it out and then being able to capture their reactions, shortly after we did that run into the Springs. So
yeah, it was cool. Really cool. So before we get into the interview with them, everybody keep in mind that we do have a giveaway as always here on the podcast this month. And it is a bunch of gear wrench tools. We're looking at a value of around $500 to $800, somewhere in that range. So we will talk a little bit more about the specifics, go into details again on Thursday's episode rather than taking time away from the interview on Monday episode. Yeah, pay attention to that. If you want in for the giveaway, what do people got to do?
You need to sign up on iRate 4x4, which is free.
That is free.
And if you are already there or are signed up, then all you have to do is scroll down to that Snail Squad or the Snail Trail 4x4 forum under Look, Listen, and Watch, I believe is what it is. And then there's on the sidebar, or down below, there are ways to enter and to get in for the gear wrench tools for this month. You just need to be in that $10 tier, and that gets you an entry into the the gear wrench tool Corey's storage locker
clean out giveaway extravaganza,
something like that. Yeah.
That's it. That sounds good, man. Check it out over at iRate 4x4. We're gonna have some cool tools for everybody, and you have until the end of the month to get in for that.
Nice.
So
excellent. Yeah. Something that I've been forgetting to mention in some of the past episodes is that we have a questionnaire up for episode 350.
Okay.
So if you guys have a question for Tyler, me, the assistant or the secretary, or all of us or one of us or any of us, or you want to make pointed questions, so say, Tyler, please ask Jimmy this, you can do all that. And there's a link down below in the this description of the podcast. And you can click on that link and then go over there and type in your questions. But we're going to answer your guys' questions with our significant others on episode 350.
Yep. No questions are off the table.
Nope.
So
we just might not answer them.
Yeah, we just may not answer them. We may not tell you, but yeah. So like if people want to know what the real meaning of boofing is, then you could ask away because we know what it is now. Oh man. So that is, what is that? That's in the show notes, right?
Yes.
On the website, in the show notes.
Yep. Website or the what do you call that? The section below the podcast.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's show notes.
Show notes also.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool, man. Yeah, definitely go and leave us a question and we'll have some fun answering them with the significant others. So anything else? Anything of worth mentioning?
Nope. I say let's let these two guys start talking.
I disagree. They don't need to talk.
All right.
Just kidding.
Well, then you just keep going.
All right. I'm going to keep going all by myself. No. Yeah, it's going to be a fun episode. Hopefully everybody enjoys it. We get into a little bit of the weeds on suspension dynamics. So hopefully we don't bore you guys. You guys don't glaze over. Hopefully you guys enjoy it and have some fun with the episode, because it was a really fun to sit down with them and learn all about everything that kind of went into the Moscow Mule. So without further ado, grab your favorite drinks, grab your favorite beverage, which may or may not be a Moscow Mule.
I was going to say, is that gin or vodka?
Moscow Mule, I think those are vodka.
It's vodka,
it's Moscow,
right?
Yeah. If it was gin, it would be a different mule.
Would it be a mint julep?
I don't know.
Or something
That's a
else?
good question. You have to ask Jason. He might know. All right. So we'll be right on back with today's campfire discussion. Welcome back, ladies and gentle ladies. We are here in one of my favorite places in the world. Probably my second favorite place. What about you, Jimmy?
Me?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Where does this rank?
Top 5, maybe.
Top 5?
Yeah.
What's above this?
I don't know. Yosemite's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can see that. That's fair. Too many people in Yosemite for me. So we are here. Where are we?
Rubicon Springs.
Again.
I
feel
Sixth or seventh time this year.
Yeah. I feel like we should just start recording down here full time.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We have 2 gentle ladies here with us.
We got more than that.
Well, yeah, we got an audience, a crowd here. But we got 2 other gentle ladies here on the microphones. One of them is a returning star of the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
about a star.
A star.
Yeah.
Is he our now most appeared guest on our
He might be.
on our podcast?
He might be. Yeah, I think so. We'll have to do some numbers or let Rob. We'll have Ryan do some looking into it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is number
him
3.
too much credit.
Yeah. Number 3 for me.
Yeah, he might be.
Yeah.
So anyways, we got Dmitry here from Stellar Built.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, man. And we got Jesse here from Stellar Built.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Jesse, we don't know who you are yet. The podcast doesn't. You're new to the podcast. What do you do over at Stellar Built? What's your role over there?
So I work in the front office. Me and Rob work there. We just run all the Ryan.
Yeah,
Ryan,
right.
Is
Rob,
that his drunk name?
Rob is his drunk name.
So we just work the front office. We do all the sales. Also have a good part of managing the shop. Make sure the workflow goes in and out.
Gotcha. So if people call in to Stellar Built or are, I guess, calling or emailing or contacting, whatever, it's usually you they're talking to?
It's gonna be me or Rob.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes Dmitry. Just depends.
If the person sounds angry, it's probably Rob.
Exactly. Yeah. Good call, bad cop. That's what we always say.
Nice. That's cool. So you work the front office now, but you do a lot of the engineering stuff as well
behind the scenes too, right? Are you used to?
Not necessarily. I'll say I have a say in things.
Okay.
So and we all kind of do. We all talk about things and how things work, and it's a team.
Gotcha. Cool. Big happy family.
Yep.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I mean, on Thursdays, we can't stand each other, but
By the time Thursday gets around.
No, we're doing good. Jesse comes. He originally started in the shop, just doing general tech, and kind of decided to transition him over to the front of the house. And the benefit of doing that is just when you rather than just starting in the office, is you really know. Inside and out of what you're really talking about, like when you
really the product that you guys are delivering.
Yeah. So you're familiar with all the components, with the installation end of things, with what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't work. So
exactly,
that comes in handy when we have questions. You know exactly what to answer. So
he did claim a pretty interesting claim earlier that he could name off every bolt on a 5th gen 4Runner from the frame down. So there'll be a quiz later.
Yeah. 100%.
Nice.
Sounds
I wasn't
fun.
surprised.
Bolt size,
bolt sizes and what sockets you need. Everything.
So typically, let's say if I have to go help out the guys in the shop, I'll have all the tools already ready. The ones I know that I'm gonna have to use.
Like a doctor, he has a scalpel. He has just only what you need, nothing you don't. So he just comes in, just sends.
What
it.
are those? Can you rattle off a few besides the generic 10, 12, 14, 17, 19?
All right, lower control arms, 22. Certain ones, I guess it depends, but upper control arms, 19. The ABS wire, that's a 12 and a 10, and that's for the most part all the tools you need to just do the front end. And then the rear, it's a 17 to take off the shocks. Depends on if it's KDS or not, but you might have to drop the KSS, which is a 14. I mean, I can go on for days.
Nice.
I like it. Dima, we have a lingering question for you.
Hit me with it.
When do we get our pizza?
Oh, the pizza. Yeah, the pizza. Yeah, it's they never picked up, man. I called them. They're still calling. They never got their. Yeah.
After you abandoned us to break and destroy my leaf pack out in Moab.
I thought pretty bad. I felt bad about that one, but I'll make it up for you guys. I'll make it up.
Who
I'm
wants
sure.
to sit there for 7 hours and watch you struggle?
I wasn't struggling, man. That was the best fabrication shop we've ever opened up on a trail, man. That was that was cool.
Nice.
That's fun. Yeah. Let's ask Jesse a little bit of background.
Okay.
Where'd you grow up? Where'd you
man.
start?
That's the hardest question.
Don't get into that one, man.
Got you.
But
are you wanted in other counties or something?
Don't tell everybody that, No, but about 3 years ago, I moved back here from Chicago. I was living there for about 6 years, but I grew up in California, born and raised. 3 years ago, I literally moved here to work in the off-road industry. There's nothing out there. I grew up going to Glamis all my life and racing dirt bikes, and I love it. I love being in the dirt. So
you grew up more in the power sports scene rather than more like rock crawling and what we're doing out here in the Sierras?
Exactly. Yeah. So all my dad's friends all had sand rails growing up. So we'd always go to Glamis and popping wheelies on those things is always fun. And then I always rode dirt bikes and quads. But I mean, the rock crawling kind of didn't come into play until I started working with Dmitriy, and they all got me up here and kind of fell in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse. So I'll tell you on my end how Jesse appeared at Stellar Build. He just showed up. So he just I
like a lost puppy.
Yeah, he just showed up one day. I think we might have gotten an email or two from him, but he just showed up and just kind of like, hey, I'm Jesse. I want to be in the industry. Like, this is what I want to do. I'm like, well, we're not necessarily hiring. I don't really need anybody, but but he's there. There's not like an ad or we're
I mean, I told him I'd straight up work for free. I just want to learn.
Yeah, and we're like, well,
Really?
okay, we'll see. So me and Rob were like, okay, what do we do with this guy?
I need to find some of those employees.
Right?
and anyway, so we kind of forgot about him. We okay, there's this guy, whatever. But then as business kind of moved forward, we who was that guy that came by? What was his name? And we dug up their emails and we're like, hey man. And so what happened was one of our guys. So at that time we were working 5 days a week, so Monday through Friday. On Friday, one of our guys had school, so we were a guy short. So you know what? Maybe we'll bring this guy along and just see if
what
he can
he's
fill the
got.
spot.
Yeah, so I started Fridays, for the first month of working there, and finally Dmitry was like, "All right, well, we'll just start you full time."
Yeah, maybe it was longer than that, but yeah, it was just it was a
Probably
couple
2
months
months.
of just Fridays, and you would see a Friday roll around, and this guy would just show up. I'm like, okay, well, he's pretty consistent. So and then did good work and kind of learned his way around the shop. So
Nice.
I was honest, straight from the get go. I was like, "Hey, I'm honestly a little ignorant to everything, but I want to learn."
That's the best way to have it, man. If you can stay humble and be like, "Hey, dude, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I'm down to learn everything." And
Oh yeah, so I started about, I think I was 22. So I'm 25 now, but I've only been there about 2 years. I just kind of worked in with the birthdays, but
okay.
Yeah.
So were you at the old shop?
yeah. So I was at the
Okay.
old shop. That's where I started.
Yep.
Exactly.
What do you have now? I know you used to have a red rock crawler.
Yeah. So I had a very similar truck to yours. Just a big Exo cage and flatbed was the only difference. The lower setup was pretty much exactly the same. I love the thing, but didn't have AC, and the girlfriend wasn't happy. So, and I like going fast, and she barrel races, and so she likes going fast, and so I got an 02 Tundra pre-runner. It's supercharged and long travel and back
went back
half.
to his roots, man. He gave in.
Yep.
He went back to his roots. A 2-wheel drive Tundra,
Yep.
which it's actually built quite well. It's set up
It
really
needs
nice.
some love, but everything
Long travel,
does.
how much more overstock is
It's
it?
4.5 inches on each side.
Dang.
Yeah. So
That's a long travel.
Yeah.
how many CVs can handle that? So
So what did you do to solve that?
what do you mean?
How'd you
What?
solve the...
I have
So-
it's 2-wheel drive.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. he got rid of the CVs.
You got rid of it all.
Exactly.
You don't need it.
Thank God I have a good boss like Dmitry that can just take me up here in his beautiful, Moscow Mule. So
Which also likes to pop wheelies on the trail.
I think we did that at one point. Yeah, I felt something going up. So yeah.
Oh man, I think there's a joke in there. But anyways, yeah, let's transition over to the Moscow Mule a little bit. This is a 4th gen 4Runner that you guys have been building for 2 years roughly.
Yeah, we've been working on and off for a couple of years. I mean, I've had the truck, I want to say maybe 4 years, but it's one of those things. It's a shop project, and working in a shop and working on your personal vehicles is a
doesn't
luxury.
pay us.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
man.
so to spend time on that's time that I'm not spending on the business. So,
Yep.
but nevertheless, we got it finished for the most part. I mean, it's drivable. It needs a couple of things to finish up for the most part. It's a good setup. So to this trip on a Rubicon, it's its maiden voyage. We did some testing in Bear City, clearancing and just kind of checking how everything cycles and works, and it did fairly well. And this is it. This is its first run. So at the Rubithon.
Was there a lot of concern about getting the suspension to cycle properly?
Not really. I mean, we cycle obviously when we build at the shop, and we use the forklift and
it's
to do all that.
constantly getting cycled.
Yeah, but one thing is when you do individual wheel compared to like when you actually go and hit terrain and you're
articulating
flexed out,
it,
front and back, then vice versa, then back.
it's hard to mimic that.
Yeah, it's hard to
situation.
mimic that unless you're actually in actual terrain. So yeah, I mean it cycles well. We got the thing strapped, and nothing's binding, and it works great. I mean, you guys saw it on the trail. I'm really with the way it works, the way it handles. I mean, going through that
voyage out.
Yeah, that frame twister spot that we hit up on the way before Buck. That it just crawled right through it, and
it was impressive watching it do that. Yeah,
yeah. A lot of times, what happens when you get in a section like that? Yeah, you're all bent out, but you try to move forward, and you're just kind of stuck because there's so much tension. But this thing just creep right through and then cycle the opposite way as you made forward. So it did well. So happy with it.
Yeah, the Moscow Mule was kind of I don't want to say the replacement, but you sold off the 80 series Land Cruiser that you had built, the linked 80.
I did. Yeah, that went to a guy in LA, and that was kind of the replacement. And the reason why I did that is because I love 80s, still love Land Cruisers. I have still a few of them as projects with the shop, Toyota Heritage, all that stuff. But this particular build, being the really sealed the deal is the fact that it has a big V8, like a lot of power, a lot of gear reduction.
And it's still Toyota.
It's still Toyota. So basically, like everything that kind of slacked on the Cruiser, because it was just a single case with I think a 3.1 to 1 ratio, which is good. It did all right, but with this thing having dual cases, it just gets it. It works great. So
yeah. So I like the you kind of explained it earlier where you were trying to keep it as low as possible.
For sure. Yeah. So that's one thing about, as you guys know, with rock crawlers, keeping the center of gravity low. So your links are flat, everything's flat, your driving dynamics are much nicer.
And no one likes to feel tippy.
Yeah, and you don't want to feel tippy. Now, a lot of challenges come with that. It's packaging everything. Especially the front end. You have hydro assist, you have your panhard, you have all your drag links and all that. So getting all that work together, being friendly with each other, that's a challenge. And that's actually one of the, I guess, only issues that we've had with this trail so far is when we did the cycling on the suspension in the front. It was great until one thing we kind of didn't realize is when we put the hydro assist, the bolt itself is a lot bigger than we anticipated. And so right now it clips on full stretch on the driver's side, it clips the drag link. So that's one thing we have to kind of go back to the shop, and which is really an easy solution. We're just going to just lower the drag in the front and get all the clearance we need.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's when you're trying to keep something that low and run 40-inch treps at the same time. It's there's a lot of really interesting engineering design choices that you guys had to make on both the front and the rear end.
For sure.
In order to package everything together.
Yeah, exactly. One of them being is also like we moved the axle forward 3 inches. So that's again, moving it forward, you're running out of room in the front for your box. There's a body mount in the way. It's just things are getting really tight.
You didn't extend the frame at all.
No, the frame is not extended, but just another detail to this build that kind of separates it from, like, let's say a garage build versus something that's really thought of is our panhard mount is mounted outwards on the frame to keep it as long as possible versus and that's where the steering box sits. So versus like running one on the inside, you're running a shorter panhard bar. Yeah, sure, it'll work in theory, but as far as geometry's sake, it's not ideal because you want to keep all those links as close to each other as possible. So when it comes to length and all that,
as parallel to the ground as well.
Plus being parallel, so it drives, so you don't have any bumps there or anything. Exactly. That's one of the issues I had. I guess concerns with the Cruiser that I just just mounted internally, and it drives on the trail. It doesn't really matter because you're going slow, but on the freeway, you get on the gas, it goes left. You get off, it pulls right. So. Yeah, so we don't really have that problem with this thing. So
nice. Yeah, there's the panhard frame bracket is, I think, something that you don't see a whole lot of on typical solid axle builds the way you guys did it. Also, your pitman arm clearancing. Explain that.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Rather than running a pitman arm that came originally with the 80 series box, we decided because that pitman arm drops down quite low, and again, it's just not as tight. Your clearance is kind of off. So what we ended up doing is we just cut the thing flat and just built a super tight pitman arm that pretty much maybe runs quarter inch away from the frame. So it doesn't drop down as you traditionally see. So it's very nice. It's tight. The only downside to that, it's not a off the shelf part. So God forbid that thing breaks. We'll have to.
It shouldn't. Looking at it, but
no, it's like reinforced so many different ways. We actually when we chopped the original one off, in addition to just welding everything around, double shearing it, we actually ran just a fat graded bolt through the casting of the original pitman arm and the metalwork that we added. So just that additional security measure, nothing's gonna. Let's say the welds break or something cracks, the steel will still be in there. So
do you know what your belly height or frame height is on it?
I think I'm around 22 inches. So belly is we had a belly skid, so we kind of fabricated our own setup. So I can technically have more clearance if I did something tighter or strictly around the transfer case. But we have just a big fat skid that's going from a link mounts and all the way to the rear link mount. So
the thing I really like about that is if you look around, like we got Scott's 4Runner here next to us, right? The 3-link on the lowers on the frame side, a lot of the brackets you see just stick down from the frame.
Yeah.
And they create this massive hang up point.
Yeah.
And you don't have that on the Moscow Mule. You still have something that hangs down, but it's one giant skid plate.
Yeah. So that's kind of one thing that we really focused on. Like the brackets, the mounts for the links are built into the cross member that holds the transfer case in place. So it's just one big unit. So you're regardless, you're going to have a something in the way, which is a cross member. So rather than just having two different components, we ran everything into one. So we just have our mounts and we have our cross member and just one seamless transition.
Yeah. What about clearancing? What is it? The drag link or the tie rod on the passenger side? What'd you guys have to do there to clearance that?
Oh, yeah. So that's a pretty common thing to do. Rather than just lifting the whole frame, we just I want to say we took out 3-4 inches, so it gets pretty narrow. We sleeved and everything. It was just a piece of like Schedule 80 pipe just to keep it as strong as possible. But yeah, no, it's recessed. I want to say 2 inches inward on the frame, and that's really just so as you tuck all the linkage, it'll clear. So.
Yeah, you have a big old notch cut in the
just
frame.
A big notch, yeah.
And
honestly, those guys that don't know that much about trucks, you look at that thing like, why is that there? Why is there half a hole?
Yeah, half a hole there in the frame. So,
are you concerned about the frame being weak in front of that?
No, not really, because in the front, what we ended up doing is kind of where the radiator is. There used to be this puny little, I would say a brace that would just hang below the radiator. So we chopped that thing out and we welded in just a 2x4 3/8 box tubing, or just
it's a 3/8 wall.
Yeah, so and that's basically I would imagine make up for any reinforcement that's really needed. It's big. It's kind of hidden behind the bumper now, but it's just a big plate that keeps the whole front end together from twisting.
Right, and unlike with leaf springs, there's not a lot of stresses happening on the front of your frame, right? Where the leaf spring's connecting up there, so any flex is adding a bunch of additional stress in the front. You don't have that issue because you're linked, so there's not a lot of stresses being put on the front of that.
No, yeah, absolutely. No, I wouldn't say there's any stress at all. And so in addition to that brace, now that I think of it, our bumper that we designed, it's actually welded to the truck. So the bumper itself serves as a reinforcement. So, and that's welded on top of the frame rail. So it's just, the whole thing is just beefed up.
Yeah. And the whole center section of that bumper it's almost like a hybrid bumper. You have it all boxed in there.
Yeah.
On the center section, then it kind of goes out to the tube on the sides. So that whole center section that's supporting the radiator support or the frame cross member there, it's all built and integrated together, which is really nice too.
Yeah, and being a rock crawler, I'm okay with that, having the bumper welded in, because it's not, there's really no reason to remove it. Like I still have access to all the coolers and radiators, so if I need to get that stuff out, I don't need to move the bumper out. So I can remove fenders easy. So nothing's in the way. So we just decided to just skip through, bolting it on, and when you bolt stuff on, it still moves. You gotta give a good yank on it, things shift. So yeah, we just decided just to weld that thing. And as far as the style of the bumper, it's kind of been my thing. Like I love hybrid bumpers, box center, nice kind of curvature to it, and you finish up with some tube work on the side. So yeah,
I remember. I think it was 4Runner Nation posted a photo of the Moscow Mule. Yeah. And everybody's like, where can I get that bumper? Yeah. Who makes that bumper? And I think I commented on one. I was like, custom made by Stellar Built.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something you can just ship. I suppose we can build something in that style and make frame brackets and all that, but it's really unique just for this truck because where the fenders are cut, like it was built around that. It's not like an off the shelf bumper that you make, where you literally just design the bumper around the truck.
Yeah. So along with the front end, you've got your 3-link geometry. You're not running a sway bar.
Not yet. So
Okay.
that's something that's I'm likely gonna work on eventually because setting up a sway bar, that's probably the most complex. I guess outside of cycling the 3-link, but that's a complex thing to do because you got your steering in the way. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts and
There's a lot of stuff up there. Keeping it low as you
keeping
have.
it low.
it's-
Yeah. And another thing is like if you run in the front, when you do full lock, full stuff, like you don't want anything to clip. So,
Yeah.
but I think I can make it work. I was kind of analyzing it for a couple of days, and I got an idea how to make that thing work.
Nice.
Now that it's done, like right now,
Yeah.
now that it's done, I know where everything cycles. Yeah,
Nice.
we'll try to figure something out.
So you're on 14-inch coilovers
14-inch
front?
coilovers all around.
all around.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got 14-inch coilovers all around. Sits fairly pretty low. You're on full width F250 setup, 10.5 Sterling in the rear.
Yeah, the rear is out of a 99, which is they haven't changed the rear since I think to this day. The front, I mean, minor differences, but it's pretty much the same axle. The front is a 05 and up Super DD axle, and reason why we went with that axle is just it has incredibly good steering, like lock to lock. I that's probably one of the best steering trucks I've ever had. It steers better than anything that's OEM.
Gotcha.
Like I can turn around like on the spot.
How many do you know how many degrees it has?
I'm not sure exactly, but I mean it's factory steering. We haven't messed with like the steering stops or anything. So, yeah,
Nice. Yeah, you definitely get some a good steering out of it, especially when the tires are tucked
Yeah.
too. When it's tucked in steering, there's some
Oh, for
tight
sure.
clearances, but it works really well.
Yeah. What's nice is, I mean, so stretching the back a little bit, stretching the front a little bit. It's it's getting up there in its length. So on this trail, like you're still able to like instantly just turn, and if you kind of make my way around an obstacle, and without really any issues. So
Yeah.
We talked a lot about the front. Did you do anything interesting in the rear specific for that, or is it just sort of a good packaging? And did you have to cut holes in your fenders to get those 14 inches up?
Yeah,
there?
so that's one thing we had to do. We had to inboard the shocks into the body. So yeah, they're recessed into the truck. Eventually, once I'm kind of have more time, I'm gonna box them in. Just the only downside, I kind of want to keep this truck streetable, snow wheeling and dust. Like I don't want any of that stuff. So yeah, we'll box those in eventually with some sheet metal work, which I absolutely don't like doing. So as far as the suspension itself, our biggest constraint was the fuel tank. As most Toyotas, it's in the way. So rather than just running another 3-link with a panhard, we decided to do a reverse triangulated setup with the upper links facing backwards. So that's where the triangulation comes in, meaning that's what keeps your axle in place. And I've had a lot of questions kind of throw my way on pinion angle. What does it do under load when you flex? Honestly, I mean, you guys saw it even on this trail. Like it the way we have it strapped. I mean, unless that thing travels like multiple feet, it's nothing changes. It's a marginal difference, and
that's the cool thing about that reverse triangulation for in situations like what we have here in the Sierras, where you're just articulating everything.
Yes,
it works beautifully.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is how it behaves out in like desert stuff out at Glamis when you take the 2-wheel drive Tundra out with the Moscow Mule.
Yeah,
if you're dropping the whole axle out all at one time. But it sounds like you guys have had quite a few conversations about what happens when you do that. How do you solve that problem?
Yeah, so I mean, if it drops all at the same time, again, it's a marginal difference.
That's pretty much where it's strapped too.
Yeah, because it's strapped in the way where like it was designed to be a rock car. So like side to side, everything works going straight. If as the axle drops, I mean, it doesn't really change much. So granted, I haven't tested it going fast, so I'm not quite sure what exactly we'll do. But just driving around the street and going over bumps and nothing changes. So it does well.
Nice. Yeah, so do you guys have it strapped in the center, or do you have it strapped on each side?
On the side. So we have 4 straps running all around. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So how much travel are you getting out of it versus how much could you get out if it wasn't strapped? I guess.
Well, I mean, it's a 14-inch shock, so I want to say we have about 3 inches of up travel, and the rest is all down.
Okay. And are you getting the full down travel out of it though?
So cycling it side to side, I'm getting its full done. But if the thing drops
the entire
the
axle at the same
entire
time?
thing.
Mhm.
It's not. I'm not getting
Gotcha.
the entire. And that's really where the difference is. Where I'm not planning to go fast with this thing. I suppose I'm not planning on jumping this thing. So
there you go.
yeah, going fast. Yeah, of course I like doing that. But like jumping, sending it, at least not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
So
And that's really like the only situation where that reverse triangulated four link is, I don't want to say have a downfall. But that's the only part. That's the only situation where that may have an issue is if you're jumping the truck.
Correct. Yeah. And if we get to a point of if that ever becomes a concern, and I want to do more like a kind of a KOH kind of stuff where you're going fast and you're rock crawling, doing kind of hybrid of both. The suspension can easily be changed to a traditional 3-link with a panhard. It's just a matter of cutting the upper mounts off, pointing one forward, and just adding a panhard bar. So what's nice about a 4-link is it's so simple. It's just 4 mounts, 4 joints on the frame. So it's just not much to it.
Yeah. For the upper links that are going backwards.
Yeah.
You had to build them into the rear bumper. I mean, you have to have something back there to mount them to, right? That's part of the frame and the chassis.
Correct.
So how did you fix that? How did you do all that?
So they're mounted just beneath the factory. Well, we cut out the factory cross member. It was too long, and we removed a couple inches, welded our own. That's the links are mounted to that, and then we just built a nice tight bumper, right against that. So its departure angle is super tight. Like as just going up something, like it's not. I don't have this behemoth of a bumper that I'm dragging. It just tucks right under, and that's the thing nice about 4Runners. The 4th-gens, if you look at it compared to a 5th-gen, its tail is really short. So we kind of made it even more shorter. So
nice. So along with, I like really what you did by kind of cutting out the stock cross member and creating your own back there. Everything's, it has the little design engineering choices in it that you guys have on the front end of it. But one of the cool things that you guys did was how you routed the exhaust through it as well.
Yeah, the exhaust is ran through the cross member and through the bumper, so it's kind of hard to explain without really seeing it. But reason we did that for exhaust is that's one thing that I didn't want to clip in the trail, and exhaust is like almost always an afterthought when it comes to crawlers. It's just, it's there, okay, now it's beat up, maybe I'll cut it off eventually. But here, like, we want to make sure like nothing is in the way, so we ran exhaust super high, and it just goes straight through the
rear bumper.
Through the rear bumper. Yeah. So the tips stick out where in the way, like if I'm reversing to something and I'm back into, they're recessed inward, so nothing touches that. So
cool.
Little details.
So yeah, that was one of the things that, obviously when you start the Moscow Mule, the first thing you notice is the sound it makes with that 4.7. It has the stock engine in it pretty much. You guys haven't done too much to the engine.
Just general maintenance. We put it does have headers on it. So what's the brand, the company?
JBA.
JBA.
Yeah.
And they're California legal headers,
they're technically
right?
street legal. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like you
of
guys
course.
haven't done anything super crazy to it, but the sound that comes out of it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to come with how you guys did and routed the exhaust and set up the exhaust.
Yeah, we're technically not running a muffler. We have like I forgot the name of the pipe, but it's a Magnaflow X pipe, but it's like a super aggressive one. Like we got hold of Magnaflow.
Not
like,
street legal.
Yeah, the X pipe. No, that thing is legal. It's just I wanted the most aggressive, the most like nastiest sounding X pipe you can get, and be like, you know what, go with this one. And I think what is it? We have 3-inch exhaust all the way back. So
We deleted all the cats, right?
the cats are not in there right now. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's pretty much straight piped all the way back.
Yeah, so it's got a nice deep grumble to it. So as you get on it, it really opens up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. There's been a few times when you're getting on it. I think we were at a tree line coming out of Buck Island, and there's just like 4 or 5 different line options right there. And you went up the center, and Larry from Yoda Man, we were sitting back at the back of the line talking with him, and we were talking a little bit about the Moscow Mule, and I was like, yeah, he's going to go up right here. He's got the 4.7 in there. And he goes, is that really? That's what that sounds like? I was like, yeah. I was like, just wait a second. He'll get on it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like 30 seconds later, we were, wah! As you go up the
Everyone
center
thinks
line.
it's an LS.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
every time, like, because it's such a common swap. LS is that an LS? No, it's a 4.7.
Yeah.
They're a super rare model. They came in only 4 gens, and like I have to kind of do my spiel and explaining
The same
what's
motor
up.
that's in the first gen Tundra in my truck.
I was going to say, it's in the
Yep.
first gen Tundra and the fourth gen Forerunners.
And GX 470.
470s. The
Oh, I
Land
didn't know
Cruisers
that.
has the same engine, so it's
Yeah,
a
100 series. Yep.
Yeah. So that line, this is my first time actually going up that line because last time I was here, I was with my Green 80 and I got denied. There used to be a tree right
There's
that's
a tree
now
right in the
down.
middle, yeah.
Yeah. So that tree, when the first time I tried it, it kind of slid me off as I'm backing up. I both doors, driver passenger door, just went out. So thankfully I had a matching set of doors, put those on, but yeah, it's nice to be able to just go through it. The power is good. It's just you get on it and it gets
It's honestly point and shoot for the most part.
Yeah. So what do you run in for lockers? Are you running Detroit spools, e-lockers?
ARBs.
Yeah, it has ARBs front and back.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, and the reason for that is mostly for availability. Like that's what was available
Parts
at the time.
available. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm a big I'm a fan of e-lockers, but this one is
They don't make it for the Sterling.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
pretty
think
sure.
one of the axles they didn't make that
Yeah.
the e-locker for. So I'm
'Cause
like,
we
you know
tried.
what?
We looked everywhere, but we couldn't find them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Could have done some Tundra axles.
Well, we'll see. We'll see once this one comes out. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that works out.
Nice. Cool. So what else can we talk about with the design choices in the Moscow Mule and how it's set up?
Is there anything else that was
Custom
tricky?
front wheel well, and we had to relocate
Sorry,
the battery to
You
the
redid
rear.
all the fenders. I didn't know that you relocated the battery. I guess that makes sense. It's not
To
in the
clear the
engine bay.
40s.
Yeah, it's not in the
Yeah,
engine bay.
exactly.
So.
Yeah, the wheel wells are about 2-3 inches higher. So the battery is in the back. Let's see.
Did you have to tub the firewall at all for?
No,
The
well, the
rear-
axles moved forward, so there's really we like relocated the body mount, just kind of out of the way. But otherwise, we didn't need to do anything. We just do the pinch wheel. There's a pinch wheel on all Toyotas that come there. We just hammer that thing down and nothing else. As far as future mods, I think it's I'm gonna leave it where it's at. Like I don't want to add a rack to it. Like if you look at it, it just has a clean OEM tubular looking rack. I'll just leave that thing. I don't like putting stuff
As
on top.
our coworker Rob always says, "Kiss, keep it simple, stupid."
Yeah, so it's very, very easy, very simple. It has enough to work. That truck is already like loud enough. Like just it has, like you look at it, it's already got a lot going on. I don't want to make it more.
It's kind of a nice contrast with how loud and how I don't know, aggressive everything looks from the frame down. From the frame up, everything looks very tame. It's this nice contrast.
Yes, and that's
to it all.
That's the way I like to build trucks. Just nothing excessive, you know, just enough. It's all business. The truck is just all business. All the suspensions, it speaks for itself. You know, it doesn't really need much else. So
yeah. So how does it all work together? All the choices that you put into it, coming out here on the Rubicon for its maiden voyage. How's it all working together? Is anything not working the way you wanted it to, and you're going to be changing up a bunch of stuff, or how's it all hanging out?
Yeah, I'm for the most part I'm pretty happy. Like I said, I just gotta figure out that hydro assist bolt thing because we lost one on the trail, so had to do a little trail fix. That's really the only thing I'm going to change is just lower that drag link down.
Okay.
But suspension for the most part works great.
Yeah, the suspension is amazing.
You don't even feel. I mean, you'll be fully flexed and you won't even feel it.
Yeah,
that's what's cool. Like you're driving and like, oh, you know, and you look out like your tires like a couple feet down.
Yeah.
So,
I know when we were, where is that spot? It's approaching Ellis. It's approaching the inner tie where Wentworth Springs comes into the trail, and you can just get completely twisted up. And I was like, hey, you guys should go that way. That way we can see the suspension get twisted up and see what's going on here. And Jesse, you went to get out of the vehicle. You open up the door. You're like, whoa, that's way down there. I can't.
No, literally, it felt like we were going over a little rock. And I look over, I'm like, what?
And so the tire was way down in that crack. Your rear was way stuffed on the passenger side, and the body was completely level. It was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah,
the rig go through that spot.
and like going back to like as far as imitating the real world, this is the real world. They're able to flex it out, stretch it out, max it out, and see how it actually drives. Because I suppose you can flex it out that way in a forklift with 2 forklifts, one on each side, but
yeah,
you're not moving forward. You're not driving it. So
you're gonna have to go borrow Metal Cloak's trailer.
yeah. I was talking to Will from Metal Cloak about that.
Have you guys thought about building your own? That would be interesting to build your own CTI trailer.
I mean, I'm sure it's
the cost of metal these days?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just give Metal Cloak a visit.
There you go.
So
Yeah, go talk to Will Matson over there. Well, cool, man. That's so with the Moscow Mule built, the goal of it as a shop vehicle, was it to show off what you guys can do with custom fabrication, or was it to show off, say, hey, we can build 4th gen Forerunners like this. If you have a 4th gen Forerunner, bring it by and pay $50,000 and it comes out like this, or what was the
All the above?
yeah, I suppose everything. I mean, our shop Stellar Built Off-Road Design and Fabrication. So anything from general off-road lifts and bolt-ons to the far end of the spectrum, which is all custom fab, and that's where other shops or other companies like that do let's say off-road work. That's where it stops. As soon as you get to you can only go so far. Maybe you might add some like little tabs, little welding here and there, but like we don't do that. This is just too much work.
If it's framed down, we'll pretty much try anything.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of shops out there. There's been a few more popping up within the past couple of years, but it seems like they do one or the other. And what's cool about you guys is that you're everything.
We're building a pre-runner right now. Obviously, we built a crawler. I mean, all the above.
Yeah.
So I'll give you guys some insight on kind of a future project.
Okay.
So
I'm excited.
Ooh,
yeah,
little sneak peek here.
Yeah, a little sneak peek. So, so the plans for this year, well, I'm hoping to start on this year, is we're going to be building a twin to that truck, but in the Lexus GX 460 platform. So also has a V8. It's a similar platform in the sense that body on frame, share a lot of components between them. So everything that we learned on this truck, we're kind of going to take it to the next level on the next one. So
on the Lexus, gotcha.
Yeah. So then that thing obviously comes all-wheel drive. We're going to convert it to a transfer case, manual cases.
Okay.
And hopefully, since we figured everything out on this truck, we should be able to bang this one out a little faster.
And that's going to be a lot faster. So and a lot faster build time. And on top of that, there's a couple of things I'm going to try different. Well. I guess better, not necessarily different, but just kind of
how do you improve stuff? Yeah, as you go. Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. So it's going to be a matching twin, but just a slightly different variant.
And two very rare colors.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun to see.
So my goal, like eventually, come out here. We have it's like a twinsies. You come out. We have one truck, another, and they're same but different. So and
we roll in, they're like, oh, they're Stellar Built.
Yeah. So they probably gonna keep it 40s. But like I said, just mostly I'm going for a matching look, but at the same time, there's gonna be differences. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fun. Is there air conditioning in the back in that one?
Yeah, it's a Lexus. It's got a lot of fun features.
There's a lot of bougie stuff going on.
Tyler might be interested.
Yeah, I'll ride in the back seat while you guys are going through.
You know what? That actually, now that I think about it, the truck, we already have the truck. So that truck has automatic drop down third row.
Nice.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep that. So yeah, and it's got like a beige, like not just beige, not a tan, but light beige interior. So it's not ideal for off road, but that's what it is.
You see how comfortable the Jeep guys are. We're kind of jealous. So
yeah, right.
You never notice if it's dusty or dirty though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. That's exciting. Other than obviously the Moscow Mule, the upcoming LX project, you guys are doing Tacoma right now too, with a big fancy bougie bed to it.
Yeah, so we have a third gen Tacoma double cab. That's kind of a wild project, escalated into even more crazy. So the front end, we're doing a TTB, which is a twin traction beam setup that you typically find under a Bronco.
Talking about the shop truck though.
Oh,
I was talking about the shop truck.
Oh, you're talking about the. I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought. Yes, we have that
We'll go
too.
into that one though. That one's a crazy build.
That one's going to be interesting to talk about, the TTB one.
Yeah,
but,
so we have a. Also, it's actually the same color Tacoma, third gen Tacoma double cab. So it's our shop truck, but we want to kind of give it a little bit more flavor rather than just being a truck with our name on it. So we got hooked up with a company out of Australia called Mitz Alloy. And they specialize in building out utility, like ute style builds. So it's where the back end is like this flatbed that can be accessorized with either a canopy or just drop down sides. Or I mean,
there's a lot of different cool stuff, modularity things you can do with those.
Yeah,
beds.
It's very modular. It's got all these cool built-in storage boxes. So the center section of the bed, the entire length of that is a slide that comes out, which is it's almost a 6-foot bed, so just a huge pull-out slide. So it's kind of like a shop truck, but next level. So we're hoping to kind of maybe be in a way like a trail chase rig or something. It'll be packed with tools.
It's the shop ute.
It's a shop ute.
You're bringing the ute into the States.
Yeah.
Well, you like Toyotas, you love the Australian builds.
Right?
Yeah. And I'm going all in on the Aussie look. Like it's not just the bed. I mean, all the little details, the big round eyes with like, orange covers in the front, like the specific snorkel, just the small aesthetical details to like, because I mean, it's a Tacoma. You see so many Tacomas, they're all beginning to look the same. So where this guy's,
it's like JK's.
Yeah, this thing will just look completely different than anything else.
That's cool. That's gonna be exciting. Are you doing anything big with the suspension? Like, are you changing out suspension a lot, or
just Dobinsons?
Yeah, it's just Dobinson's coilover lift.
Their leaf springs are great, especially with heavy load, and we plan on using it as a work truck.
Yeah,
so I mean, that's what if you have a 4-wheel camper. I mean, they instantly recommend Dobinson leaf springs.
Yeah,
they just hold up.
Nice.
So.
That's cool. So you got the shop truck that you're bringing the ute into the States now with it. And then you have a couple of trucks there from Miso Customs.
Yeah. So we have 2 projects that we're working for him. So one of them is a Tacoma that we've built that truck before. It went to SEMA, did its round, and now it's been taken apart and it's going on like a stage. Gosh, man, two or three.
He had twin turbos in there.
Twin turbos, yeah.
Went and partied before tuning because he thought he'd be fine. Blew that motor, and then it just went down south from there.
We had a long travel, total chaos. It was nicely built, like big body, like white fenders and all that. So now it's round 2. We decided to cut the front frame off and the rear frame off. So there's just
the cab is there.
Slightly more modifications.
Wow.
So the front end we're converting it to a twin traction beam suspension,
like an early '90s Bronco. It's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. And a lot of that stuff was inspired from Bobby at Solo Motorsports, which is a desert shop in Southern California. They've been building them since '95. So we're using, so it's a twin traction beam. On top of that, it's a long travel twin traction beam setup. So the beams are extended a couple inches. So
we literally got the frame from a Bronco.
Yeah,
so the front. So you're gonna be welding the Bronco front end on it.
The front end is already in. It's already all in.
We made them together.
The reason why another reason why we went that route is it's no longer has an original motor, and
I was gonna say, so you have a little bit more space to package a big ass motor in there.
So the whole point was to fit this Hellcat motor in there, and it didn't fit. So
it didn't fit with the factory steering rack in the way, with the factory coil buckets in the way. It just with the headers it just there was no room. So we decided, well, why don't we just eliminate all that and just because the TTB setup will now have coilovers. So and you can mount them wherever
and if
you want.
Pre-runner guys, it works. I mean, it's tried and true.
So.
Rear 4-link. That transfer case we were just talking about, the Behemoth one, that's the case that we got for it.
Nice.
Dana 60 in the rear. The front end is a Dana 44, essentially, it's just packaged in a beam
TTB,
setup.
Yeah.
So,
rear is a ECGS Dana 60 converted for a 6-lug.
Yeah.
So it keeps the factory 6-lug.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, that's the East Coast gear supply, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dana 60 you guys are putting under there.
Are you skinning
it's 4-linked.
4-linked?
It's already in there, already welded in.
Nice.
So.
Is it still going to be skinned with the Toyota in the front, or are you going to put a Bronco front end on it?
Well, it's a Toyota with a Dodge motor with a Ford suspension. So,
So no Chevy.
I'm not sure what it identifies that. So I think we're done as far as adding other.
Wow.
So what is Miso calling it? Like the Hell Taco or something?
It will look like a Toyota. So we'll leave it at that.
How much horsepower is that going to be pushed into the wheels?
I think
So right now it's factory 707.
Yeah.
But after talking to Miso, so after we get it all fitted in there, he's taking it to his buddy's shop and he's going to be putting at least 1,000 horsepower in there.
Holy shit. Okay. That's going to be a fun thing to kind of watch what he does with that.
Yeah, big build. So and another build we're doing for him, he also got a shop truck that he can't keep stock. So we're it's a Tundra.
Seems like a normal theme around here.
Yeah, it's a thing for him.
I know, right?
You got to keep things interesting. You know?
Yeah. So it's a Tundra. So it's the last year of the second gen. Yeah, last year of the second
21.
gen. 21. TRD Pro. It's getting a Dirt King front rear set, outboard shocks. Just a lot of travel.
The wheels are the
wide
best
body.
part on there, though.
Yeah, big beadlock wheels, Volks with converted to beadlock. So it's just a lot of cool things with that build as well.
Interesting. Okay. That's cool, man. It sounds like your guys' transition to the new shop has kind of opened up the doors to do a lot more of these kind of fun builds, these big custom
space
builds.
was our issue before.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what really comes down to is just having space. So right now we have multiple like long-term big projects. We just have another solid axle job that we started last week. So it just really comes down to space and space, material handling, being able to work around, because fabrication is it's dirty, it's grimy, there's dust and sparks, and you can't be doing that next to like a Magnuson supercharge install or next to a suspension install
and it really needs its own shop.
So we kept that to its own building. It's got its own space, so its own crew.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. That's a great update. I think it's been, God, was it Moab? Did we have him on for Moab?
Moab.
Yeah, it's before Moab. We did one at the Morflade studio.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's right.
And it was more so he got his new shop and we were just updating everybody.
Yeah. So it's been a neat to kind of see the evolution of Stellar Built growing, and how much you guys are doing. We were talking about it earlier, how much you guys are doing, how much you've grown over the 7 years, and kind of the direction that everything's going is really cool to watch.
Yeah, we're really fortunate to be in Sacramento, being in Northern California. It has a fantastic off-road community.
So close to here,
great,
a couple
best
hours.
places to wheel. This is, in my opinion, the mecca of off-road. This is where I want to be. This is a place to have the shop. So we're really happy with that. And obviously the community itself been super supportive. So you guys obviously been a great help. So, really appreciate it and kind of fortunate.
Thank you.
So.
Well, cool, man. I got no more questions. I'm excited to see how these builds come along. I want to see the LX progress in the future here. See how that goes. I want to see the GX. Sorry, the GX progress in the future. I want to see kind of where the Moscow Mule ends up and some of the minor tweaks you guys are going to be doing to it to kind of finish it off. So, and I want to see the Hell Taco and see how that turns out too.
Yeah. Me as a pre-runner guy, I'm excited for that one.
Right. Well, cool. I got no more questions and updating. Anything else you guys wanted to tease about or anything coming up?
I just a kind of shameless plug. We're located in Sacramento,
here.
downtown. So, we're open Monday through Thursday. You guys, anybody's always welcome to come by. You don't even have to buy anything or really need anything from us. Like you can just come by. We'd love to show people around our shop, kind of what we're up to. So
you don't have to have just a Toyota. I mean, stop on by.
Yeah, exactly. So we love to be just part of the community. So
you did post the other day with a couple of Jeeps at the shop around the corporate cruiser. I think
there's slowly we've been seeing some Jeeps sprinkle through the shop,
and kind of our hidden secret.
Yeah, it's our hidden guilty pleasure secret. We happen to have some of our guys that work at the shop happen to be hardcore Jeep guys. So we're anytime we have a Jeep, they get all excited, and But yeah, no, we've had a couple of cool projects, some mostly late model, JT work. So, we're kind of dabbling with that a little bit. So,
Okay.
I think one of the last times we had you on, you were sort of hinting at that you were going to maybe start getting into the sprinter industry. Is that something that still might be on the
hard
docket?
part about that is how big they are.
Well, yeah.
Having a lift.
Do you have a
itself.
door that they go
Yeah, we have plenty of
worked on
space.
that Earth Roamer.
Yeah,
was
we
fun.
have-
that was cool.
We have plenty of space, and we've done some sprinter work. Sprinters, they're really more about the inside. I mean, they have plenty of accessories and suspension, all that, but sprinter guys, that's one thing we learned is like, hey, well,
The living space.
cabinetry and this and that, plumbing and like that are, I guess, more the recreation, the RV
We are
part
doing
of
a
it.
suspension setup next month or this month or a couple weeks
Really?
for a sprinter. Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess there you go.
There we go.
The
Yeah.
GX, the
Question
custom upgrade
answered.
Yeah. So yeah, we've done some van work, and it's I like that they're just robust platforms, and it's kind of like the gold rush in the industry when it comes to vans, because nothing existed for them, and now like last time I went to this van expo, there's they're beginning to put lockers in them. So
Really?
like
That'd
yeah,
be
like
fun.
there's like a Airbnb, like that some guy just homebrewed machined the locker in the back. So I want to say it was an air locker, and I think
It
like
is an air locker.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Van Compass has all that
yeah,
stuff.
so that's well, they're not officially for sale yet, but that's where it's going. So
Wow.
I've seen one, believe it or not, with a Dana 60 swapped in the front, so which is
In the
wild.
front? That's cool.
Yeah, so
it's
like,
perfect for a guy and his wife. They retire and just want to go roam the country.
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, it's an interesting market, interesting field of just modification. Just you're not necessarily building a truck. It's like you're building a home.
Yeah.
Like people are treating those builds as this is where I'm gonna live. So
Yeah.
like just everything is much more expensive on them and specialized. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So how long till we see a Sprinter van out here at Rubicon Springs?
Oh man, gosh. Well,
That'd be interesting getting it down Indian
I like to
Trail.
keep it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to keep it
off-camber.
low.
Yeah.
So they're already like 10 feet tall. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to keep it low. So that's gonna be a lot of sawzall work. So
Oh,
We might have
man.
to do, chop the top, lower the
Yeah.
top.
yeah, we might have to recess the body down.
Dude,
So
just cut 2 feet out of the body. You just cut 2 feet out
Old
all the way
hot rod
around.
stuff,
Yeah.
Well, you make it one of those pop tops.
There you go. Yeah.
we're gonna have to put sliders on the body. I think that's you're really gonna have to.
It's a metal plating
Yeah.
across the entire body.
Nice. Well, cool, man. Thanks for sitting down, taking
you,
the
guys.
time on a beautiful Saturday afternoon down here in Rubicon Springs for Rubithon. We're
Can't
all
beat
down
this.
here for Total Land Cruise Association. Yep.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. How can people get a hold of you guys if they want to ask you questions or talk to Jesse at the front desk? What do they call? What do they punch in on the internet?
So we have 2 phone numbers. One's mine, one's Rob's. Mine's 916-701-5114. And then Rob's is 916-882-0333. And then
Perfect.
our email is just sales@stellarbuilt.com.
Nice.
And if you want to see what we're all about, just jump online, Stellar Built, Instagram, Stellar Built, and
You guys are really good about posting builds that you guys are doing on Instagram to show, hey, here's some cool ideas what we can do with the Tacoma. Here's some cool ideas we can do with the Forerunner. Here's some cool stuff we can do with GXs. There's a lot of, I like the ideas that you keep flowing through Instagram of what you guys are working on.
When people are building their trucks, they just want to see what it's going to look like. Having that Instagram just, what does he have here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I realized with social media is that a shop that, let's say that does this kind of production work when it comes to just outfitting and building trucks, it can be really robotic. Here's a truck with the bumper with a lift. Here's a truck with the bumper and the lift, and it's just like same. Okay, great. Now I like to sprinkle in. We have plenty of that, but I like to sprinkle in just little bits and pieces of just information, little quirks that we find, that I find interesting.
Everybody wants their build to be a little different.
Yeah.
So
and just sharing that, I mostly do that stuff in the stories, and just kind of going more into detail about some of the stuff that behind the scenes that somebody may not necessarily see. So.
Yeah. So the Instagram is just at Stellar Built.
At Stellar Built, correct.
Cool. Awesome.
Yes.
People know how to get a hold of us. This is going to be episode 328, something like that. 330.
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere around there. So you guys have plenty of episodes of knowing how to get a hold of us, me and Jimmy. So you can do that as always. Any final words? Let's do final words around the circle. Jimmy, you're first.
Me first.
Yes, sir.
I'm super stoked to have seen the progression of the Moscow Mule, and then to actually be out here on the maiden voyage with you guys. That was really cool to walk around the rig as you guys were going over obstacles and just watching and seeing how everything worked. So congratulations to you guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Jesse, final word.
Just thanks for having us on. I mean, really
Dude.
appreciated.
Yeah, it's just been a good run. The 4Runner mini truck run, just be able to tag along with you guys, just hanging with you here at camp. So it's been nothing but great. So.
Cool, man. And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
Why are eggs so bad at telling dad jokes?
Anybody? Anybody at all?
Nope.
Because they always crack themselves up.
And the crowd goes wild. Dima, you got any jokes?
I think that just settled it right there.